problem is that myth is interesting to learn and it reflects the cultures of people. The study of myths is thus of central importance in the study both of individual societies and of human culture as a whole. There is a very big amount of literary and narrative genres that are compared to myth. Myths are almost the same as these literary genres but have some differences, including identifying the name of the hero and giving the character specific lineage, to name a few. So this is the boring stuff? I know. Myth and psychology. Two psychologists named Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung interpret myth by the Oedipus complex and the theory of, I'm gonna probably butcher this, Lucien Levy-Bruhl. So who would name their child Lucien Levy-Bruhl? So these theories, which are disregarded, explain that myth comes from the unconscious. They also developed a series of archetypes to go with it. Myth and science. Many experts believe that people use myth as a way to explain things that are around them. Myth and religion. Myth and religion. We don't talk about religion here, so we're just gonna skip that. Boring. Types of myth. Myth of origin. Water has a special role in North America and Asia, in which the creator, often an animal, pulls the earth down from the ocean by diving in it. So an animal that is basically pulls out the earth from the ocean. Yes. So the world's parents, usually the sky and earth, and creation through sacrifice, they make creation through the sacrifice or through the primordial battle. So you know what that means, right? Battling stuff because I can. Because Earth is non-existent, so how do they know it exists? Creation myths also saw opposites happening in the new formed world, while they were together in the old one. And I thought I was the weird one. Creations of humans are also part of this. In all cases, however, humans have a particular place based on their duties, because of the limitations, or even because of their gifts. Creation is thus seen as a period of processes, frequently in a three-stage model: gods, human ancestors, and humanity. So, gods are superior because they came first, then humans, and then other animals. Myths of, I don't know what that is, and destruction. These myths explain how death was created. There is an African myth in where there is a chameleon who had to tell the humans that they were going to be immortal, but he was too late. So and the creator changed his mind, so then they didn't become immortal. Great, that's why I'm not immortal. I wanted to be immortal! No. There you go. This is important. So, myths of providence and destiny. Here is no doubt about Zeus's supremacy in the Greek poet Hesiod's genealogical account of the gods. Yet in the work of Homer, Zeus is powerless to defy fate and save the life of his son Sarpedon. Great, there's a name called Sarpedon. So that means that not even gods are powerful to stop fate. Fate is like the thing that is craved on stone. Fate is nothing, it can't be changed by mortals or gods. Myths, Mnemosyne, memory, the mother of the muses, is said to know everything, past, present, and future. She is the memory that is the basis of all life and creativity. Forgetting the true order and origin of things is often tantamount to death. So this is bad. If you forget something today, you will probably die tomorrow, because that's how this works in this world. Myths of high beings and celestial gods. I don't think anybody would be surprised if I tell you that 90% of all myths are of these types. They are very vague and feature many types of gods that control various types of elements to defeat humans, mostly, and to do good, sometimes. But the myths are very vague because these myths tend to focus on a lot of aspects, and myths are very different because they are passed orally. So there's many variations of the same myth, as well as there's many variations of the character of the gods and celestial beings. I don't think I would be surprised to say that 90% of all myths are of these types. These myths are very vague and feature various types of gods that control various types of elements to kill the humans, mostly, and do good once in their lifetime. These myths are not that common, but myths of kings and aesthetics. These myths are not that common, but they're a pretty common type of myth. Take for example Arthurian legend. Everybody knows a bit of Arthurian legend. If you don't know who King Arthur is, you have no right in this conversation. Long live the king! In Joseph Campbell's view of myth, it is stated symbolic expression is given to the unconscious desires, fears, and tensions that underlie the conscious patterns of human behavior. Which basically means that people want to believe that there is a superior being for everything good and bad that happens because they don't understand natural phenomenon. The Black Plague was caused by Jupiter, confirmed. He explains that myths has 4 functions. He also says that modern people can have their own mythology. The essence of myth is a call to the adventure of following your bliss, which means that people who have to be called by some unknown factor to start their quest. With bliss meaning Campbell's ideas of following your bliss at the opposite of following a rule dictated by the social system. By comparing the myth to relatable things, like doubt being the dragon that is around the corner, we can become closer to feeling like this myth can be part of it. Egyptian mythology. So let's see if these weird gods with human heads have a reason. There were 2 essential foci, or public religion, the king and the gods. 2 types of mythological. While gods are gods and we know what they do, we can maybe not say the same for kings. The kings had a unique status between humanity, and the gods partook in the work of the kings, in the world of the kings, and constructed great, religiously motivated funerary monument for his afterlife. What this quote is saying is that the king was kind of like a messenger that builds stuff to praise him. It had some, but not a lot of power. Dead. Egyptian gods are renewed for their wide variety of forms like animal forms and mixed forms. But why animal forms though? As all myths, there is always a disorder that goes with good, because gods are really not that good, and in this case the evil is the Chaos Serpent. Such an original name. Did their head explode after naming it? Chaos, bad. Serpent, as in a giant serpent. Despite this pessimism, the official presentation of the cosmos on the monuments was positive and optimistic, showing the king and the gods in perpetual reciprocity and harmony. Of course they are like, oh, this is good, everything is good, there's not a giant serpent over here trying to kill us all day, every day. Basically, they built stuff for an invisible god, and they praise the realm in which people are dead. Great. The king was also the center of human civilization. Long live the king. Again. Ra or Re was considered the good god, or the perfect god, and kings were sons of Ra. Who names a god Re? Like what? The king's death would also have a special funerary ritual. Yay, the king is dead! Ma'at is the concept of order and is fed of disorder. Let's call it possible good guys and possible bad guys. Some deities, probably such goddesses as Nath, Sekhmet, and Mut, have strong ambivalent characters. Ambivalent means having mixed feelings or contradictory ideas about someone or something. This reflects my point that gods are not always the good guys. What's about Set, or Set. He is the worst. You know Loki. Well, this guy is just as bad. This god is the god of chaos and evil. Ra has 3 forms, as so does the day. Gods had animal heads because there are a lot of animals in the desert and they were special, so they wanted to praise them and they didn't know. So they made gods with animal heads. Geb and Nut are the primordial gods of the sky and the earth. One narrative recounts how Isis, not the terrorist group, obtained a magical substance from Res Zenel dribbling, and fashioned from it a snake that bit him. To make her still the agony of the snake bite, he finally revealed to her the secret of his true name. If mythology is not weird now, I don't know what is weird for you. Priests built temples for the gods, so that they could worship them. Numerous species were buried there, and people visited the area to consult oracles and to spend time in a temple area and receiving healing dreams. So that means they're dying dreams? And how does it mean the dreams heal you specifically? Egyptian people, believed in life after death, and varied people with numerous riches. So that's the best way to get robbed. You just put it in a random location and get robbed. Magic was the first present in the world. From the beginning of creation, it was personified as the god Heka, who received a cult in some regions. By magic, you mean saying words that do powerful stuff? Myths in Norse mythology. Creation of the world. There was only a big, black, dark, vast emptiness called Ginnungagap. To the north of Ginnungagap, there is a place called Niflheim. Niflheim is a very dark and cold place, and it consists of ice, frost, and fog. To the south of Ginnungagap, there is a place called Muspelheim. This is a land of fire, and it's so hot that it only consists of fire, lava, and smoke. It is said that in Niflheim, at a place called Gelmir, whatever that is where all the cold rivers are from. It is said to be the source of the 11 rivers. Gelmir was the origin of all existence, and the place where every living being will go back. So that is why there is a lot of cold rivers in the Nordic region. It's not because of climate, it's because of Niflheim. That makes a lot of sense. The middle of Ginnungagap, the air from Niflheim and Muspelheim. The fire melted the ice and it began to drip. The ice started to make the shape of a humanoid creature. It was a Jotun, also called a giant. This giant was Ymir, the first giant in Norse mythology. So the first giant was not a frost giant, but actually a water giant, because ice and fire make water. When Ymir fell asleep, he started to sweat, and the sweat under his arms grew 2 more giants, one male and one female, and one of his legs paired with the other to create a third son, Strength Yellow. These were the first in the family of frost giants, also called Jotuns. Why is this myth so weird? Giants growing from arms of other giants? What the hell, huh? The giant cow Ardurna fed herself on a block of salty ice, and while she was licking the block of salty ice, something strange happened. On the first day, some human hair emerged from the block. On the second day, Ardurna licked on the salty ice block. A head appeared. At last, on the third day, the rest of the body came out. The man who had grown out to be the salt rock was Buri, the first of the gods. Buri was a giant, big and handsome. He would later have a son called Bor and his wife Besla. Bor and Besla would have 3 sons, Odin, Vali, and Vit. Since when is there a giant cow? And since when is there salty ice? And since when there's humans in ice? I have a lot of questions right now. Ymir was constantly conceiving new giants. The only solution was to kill Ymir. The 3 giants Ymir until Ymir was asleep before a horrifying battle began, and by using all their strength, they managed to kill Ymir. The blood spouted out with a furious force in every direction from Ymir's body, and most of the giants drowned in a huge flood of blood. That's how much blood Ymir has. He's special. Only 2 giants survived, Belgermir and his wife. The couple fled and found a safe place in the land of mist, and saved their lives. All future giants descended from this. What did the giants do to you, man? The blood became the oceans, rivers, and lakes. The flesh became the land. The bones became the mountains. The teeth were made up into rock. The hair became the grass and trees. The eyelashes became Midgard. So basically that means that I'm stepping on eyelashes right now. But wait, the story continues. While Odin and his brothers were in the progress of creating a new world from the body of parts of the giant Ymir, worms kept crawling out of the rotten remains. These worms would become the dwarves. So dwarves are basically hyper-evolved dwarves. By the name of Mundilfari, the one moving according to particular times from Midgard, had 2 children. They were so shiny and beautiful that he said to call his son Mani, Moon, and his daughter Sol, Sun. Like the sun and the moon were not 2 things, but the gods still got pissed. And they took both of them and put them in the sky. Sol would ride in a chariot that is pulled farther away, and Asgoldir something very quick. Under the chariot there's a figure, Svalin, holding a shield that protects the earth below from the flames. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. There is a man. Odin gave the logs spirit and life. V gave them movement, mind, and intelligence. And Vili gave them speed, feeling, and the 5 senses. And the first 2 humans have been created. The man had given the name Ad, and the woman had been given the name Am. The Aesir decided the humans should live in the place called Midgard. Great humans are hyper-evolved. That's something I didn't know before. The giants really